Imagine opening your hood to find a piece of cardboard from a cereal box, keeping your engine alive, and realizing it's more reliable than a $2,000 factory computer. While the modern auto industry tries to turn your truck into a high-priced digital rental, a silent group of mechanics is performing a nuclear option to take back control. Welcome to Factory Audit. Here, we don't just review vehicles, we investigate the engineering and corporate tactics that threaten your right to own them. We audit the parts, the software, and the systems that decide whether your truck stays on the road or ends up in a scrapyard. If you're tired of being a digital tenant and want to learn how to keep your iron on the road forever, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our community of fabricators. A viewer named Sean recently provided a chilling reality check for the American driver. He observed that our automotive landscape is beginning to mirror Cuba's, where citizens are forced to maintain ancient machinery simply because new alternatives are financially impossible. With the price of a showroom truck now hovering around $80,000, and manufacturers intentionally killing off the digital modules needed for older fleets, the reality is clear. You are being squeezed into a corner, but there is a resistance forming in home garages. Today, we are documenting the Carburetor Rebellion. We're investigating why mechanics are stripping away federally mandated computers and complex wiring harnesses to install pure, analog crate engines. More importantly, we're exposing how regulators are moving to make this survival tactic a federal offense. To understand the rebellion, you have to audit the failure of electronic fuel injection. In the late 80s, EFI was sold as a miracle of efficiency. Yet this convenience was built on a foundation of fragile sensors and miles of copper. The industry never intended these harnesses to survive 30 years. Today, mechanics deal with brittle infrastructure, plastic connectors that shatter upon touch and wire insulation that cracks from decades of engine heat, the rodent trap, soy-based wiring insulation that literally attracts rodents to chew through your main harness, electrical ghosts, the nightmare of chasing a bad ground or a parasitic draw in a 3-decade-old digital web. When a proprietary computer finally fries or a mass airflow sensor is marked discontinued, your high-tech truck becomes an $80,000 brick. The dealership holds the only key, and they want you to trade in. Smart owners are now refusing to play the game. When electronics become a financial black hole, they take wire cutters to the modern world. We are seeing 2000s-era trucks, like Ford Rangers, being fitted with carbureted 302 V8s from the 80s. We see Chevy Silverados losing their computerized brains entirely in favor of classic 350 small block engines. This creates a massive domino effect. If you kill the engine control module, your electronically controlled automatic transmission will lose its mind and lock itself in limp mode. The rebellion's answer? Rip that out too. Mechanics are bolting in fully hydraulic transmissions like the TH350 or swapping in heavy-duty manuals with physical clutch pedals. When the audit is finished, the engine bay is stripped of 40 pounds of plastic and useless copper, requiring only 3 wires to function: one for the starter, one for the alternator, and one for the ignition coil. Why go backward? Because a carburetor operates on the unhackable laws of physics. It uses engine vacuum and the Venturi effect to pull fuel based on the physical velocity of the air moving through it, not a line of computer code. There are no electronic throttle bodies to fail, no software flashes required to make it run, and no oxygen sensors telling a computer to lean out your mixture. Think about the sheer vulnerability of a modern silicon-based system. If a single microchip in your PCM gets a static shock or moisture, your 3-ton truck becomes a paperweight. But a mechanical fuel system is rugged by design. As another viewer noted, if a carburetor gasket fails in the middle of nowhere, you can trace a new one from a cereal box with a pocket knife, bolt it back together, and drive home. You cannot do that with a fried motherboard. This mechanical freedom terrifies the authorities. The EPA and CARB have drawn a hard line. Under federal emissions tampering laws, it is illegal to remove emissions devices or swap an unregulated older engine into a newer chassis for on-road use. If your truck was born with an OBD2 port and a catalytic converter, The government legally mandates it must die with them. In states with strict inspections, rolling in with a gleaming 4-barrel Holley carburetor where a plastic intake manifold should be is an instant failure. Your registration will be denied, and your property will be deemed illegal for public roads. To survive this trap, mechanics are finding legal loopholes, such as registering trucks as farm vehicles, securing antique plates, or moving to rural counties that refuse to implement emissions testing. Regulators claim this is about smog, but for the mechanic, it is a battle for property rights. If the manufacturer holds the software keys and the government dictates every piece of metal you can bolt to your engine under threat of massive fines, do you actually own it? Or did you just buy a very expensive, highly regulated lease? This is why forever engines like the Chrysler Slant 6, the Ford 300 Inline 6, and pre-1986 Chevy small blocks are skyrocketing in value. They are immune to impending mandates for in-cabin surveillance sensors and cannot be bricked by a forced over-the-air software update. The industry wants self-reliance to be a crime, but the American fabricator is fighting back. We are not just consumers, we are problem solvers. If they stop making the computers, we will delete them. If they ban the hardware, we will find a way around it. This isn't just about old iron. It's about the fundamental right to repair and modify the property you paid for. We are seeing a movement where owners are choosing dumb trucks over smart ones, deliberately seeking out vehicles that lack a cellular connection or a digital kill switch. The value of a truck is no longer measured by the size of its touchscreen, but by the simplicity of its fuel system. When you choose a mechanical heart over a silicon brain, you are opting out of a system designed to fail. You are trading a slight decrease in fuel efficiency for a massive increase in long-term survivability. You are ensuring that 20 years from now, your truck won't be sitting in a scrapyard waiting for a software update that will never come. We are reclaiming the age of the forever truck, where the only limit on a vehicle's lifespan is the grit of the person holding the wrench. If the dealership refuses to be a partner in your truck's survival, then they have become an obstacle, and in the world of fabrication, obstacles are meant to be removed. Have you performed a carburetor swap or an engine delete to escape a failing digital system? What are the laws like in your state, and how are they affecting your ability to keep your truck alive? Sound off in the comments. Your ingenuity is the survival guide for the rest of us. If you refuse to surrender your property to the dealership cartel, hit the subscribe button to join the Factory Audit resistance. We are building a community that values grit over gadgets and mechanical iron over microchips. Keep turning your own wrenches, stay off the digital grid, and we'll see you in the next audit.